We're back. CEO Des, thanks for tuning into the channel once again. We have a very special guest today, all the way from California. I'm very excited. I have the pleasure of introducing my dad. My dad is in the banking industry, and we're gonna tag team this episode. So without further ado, I'm gonna jump right in. I'm gonna let my dad go ahead and give some of his background, what he does.
Oh yeah, my name is John Stanley. I am currently a financial regulator with the United States Department of Treasury in Northern California. We regulate mid-sized and community banks, and did transition into that after several years serving as a lender and customer service and doing various roles with several local banks here in Cleveland: Chase, KeyBank, PNC. Worked for several of those institutions and then transitioned into the regulatory side.
So you're very deep in the banking and financial game, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
How many years did you say?
Total of close to 23 years.
23. LeBron, goated. Okay. We're gonna dive right in, talking about budgeting, planning, financial literacy, a few topics like that. Like I said, we're just gonna dive in and try to give you some tips, some knowledge, something that's gonna help you financially in 2021. Okay, so jumping right in, topic of budgeting and planning. Now I'm 25 years old. I've seen you level up, basically, in terms of the financial literacy, the budgeting, the planning. Like I've seen you sit down on Saturdays and go through your journal and get everything budgeted out. So if you could kind of walk the people through your process, what steps are important, kind of how do you break all of that down?
So for me, it's really going back to basics. There's all kinds of apps and budgeting apps and things of that nature, but I want to be able to pick up a notebook, and for me it's writing down. It's going through the physicality of writing down my bills, knowing what every bill I have is, what every amount. I have several different accounts that I pay bills out of. Which account is paying which bill. If something were to happen to me tomorrow, my wife will be able to pick up that notebook and really see every bill that gets paid, where it gets paid from, how much I pay on it. And I do that, like I said, I do that bi-weekly as I get paid bi-weekly. I walk through literally looking at, whatever bills come. Now I have all my bills that come to me electronically. But as I get notified that I get a new bill, I track it in my journal and just kind of see that. It also helps me see where there's variances from my budget. If I know my light and gas bill is $125 a month, if 1 month it jumped up to $150, then I'm kind of tracking that and I see where I'm paying that.
So you wouldn't even know that unless you were on top of your bills to know that type of variation.
Yeah, you do have to be on top of your bills. You really, one thing that I think where people get in trouble at, and I even tell my wife this, is that we look at bills in a tunnel. Well, my light bill is $100 a month. My gas bill is $100 a month. My car note is $300 a month. Okay, so you got $500 right there. Well, I make $4,000 a month. But how much money are you spending in total? So how much money is on eating out? How much money is on Uber? How much money is on Starbucks? How much money is on, I'm gonna just run through the bar, and hook up with some of my boys. So if you have a allotted amount for a particular expense, you need to stay within, you need to actually stay within your budget. We allot a certain amount of money for groceries. And we've had to rein in, like just running to the store because we don't want to eat what's in the refrigerator. You have to, you have to be committed to your process and really stick with it. in spite of yourself.
Right. That's not in the budget. You ain't getting it. So, if you could kind of speak to what got you to that point, because it's not easy. If it were easy, everybody would be budgeting and have savings and everything like that. So, if you could speak to what got you here.
So just being brutally honest, I made several what should have been fatal mistakes along the way. Again, making budget missteps, overspending, buying cars that I had no business buying. At one point, I was an account executive for a mortgage company, and this was right prior to the mortgage meltdown in 2008.
That's when we had the party house.
You're absolutely
every
right.
Weekend.
You were playing football with all of your buddies, and every weekend after the games, our house was the party spot, and we would go to the grocery store, and we would load up, and we would cook out. I bought a truck that I was paying $800 a month for. Got your mom a truck.
The King Ranch.
That she was paying close to $700 a month for. We had our house note. We had your schooling. We had all of this, and I was making great money. I mean, great money. And the mortgage crisis hit, and all of that went away. And I had zero savings. I had no money to fall back on. There would be months where I would bring home $20,000 a month, and that would be bring home after taxes. And when we hit the crisis, we had nothing, because I was bringing home $20,000 a month. We lived on $22,000 a month, and
it was fun.
That it was a blast. Right up until the point that the truck was getting hooked up to the back of a truck.
That wasn't fun.
To take it away. And right up to the point that the process server came to serve us papers that the house was being foreclosed on. So everything was fun up until that point. Now it's fun because as I'm budgeting and as I spend time on, my wife will tell you, I get excited about putting money away. Now, because when you go through something like that, that's traumatic. But what came out of that was perfect, because now the way I treat money and the way I treat our expenses and the way I treat rainy days, was born out of that experience. So, how I focus on putting money away, my 401k, I work for the government, so I have what's also called a thrift savings plan. I have an annuity. The way I sit money away in those, the way I treat my credit cards. I'm dealing with an elderly parent who's ill, and we had to up and fly home this time, and that doesn't impact our budget because of the way that I've treated money leading up to this. And I make more money now than I was making in the financial crisis, but I treat it as if I'm making minimum wage money, because again, my savings is more important, our family is more important. If we have to help out one of our parents, that's more important. If we have, that's not as important. But
Oh, I can't get no help. I can't get no help. I need a loan.
But again, now there's those projects that I want to take care of. There's things around the house, because again, if we have to sell our house, my job, we could potentially have to relocate quickly. So having the money put into the home where we can get that money back. Those are all things that we focus on now. That whole process got us to. My budget right now, you joke around and call me the budget Nazi, but I take pride in that, because I had to get there. I had to learn to be the budget Nazi. And it doesn't matter, family, friends, no one derails me from that now, because again, it's too important. It's too critical for us. It's too important.
So, to summarize all of that, for the young people out there, one financial setback doesn't have to, derail you. You can bounce back. You just saw it here, proven. I witnessed it. I was there for it all. We were the party house. Everybody over every weekend. Like I said, we cooking out, we grilling. I'm playing football in the backyard. Everything's good. I also saw, like you said, the cars get taken, all of that. And now to see where they at, it's crazy. So I know that any financial situation you can bounce back from. It's just like you said, you have to get to a point where you have that financial mindset, and you want to have savings, you want to put money away. But again, if it were easy, everybody would be doing it. You know, you just got to keep working at it and find a process that works for you. In closing, was there anything else? Any other tips you have for the people?
No, I would just say, you were spot on. Just, be committed to your process. Find what process works for you. My process may not work for you, but find what works for you and be committed to it. And just know, again, the words that you utter are important. Nothing is fatal. No financial mistake is fatal. They hurt, and it takes time to come back from them, but they're not fatal. There are those that will make you think that they're fatal, but they are not. You can recuperate, you can recover, you can come back, and you can do it better.
You heard it here first. CEO Des, John Stanley. Thanks for tuning in. Go ahead, kill that like and subscribe button. And as always, appreciate you for tuning in. We'll be back.